Okay, I wanted to correct some things on my video dealing with religiosity in men. And this isn't because of I'm worried about offending Christians. I don't think there's enough real Christians in the world for me to offend enough of them. Maybe I will offend some phony-ass Christians, and they'll start actually looking into Christianity and practicing it. But what my point is this. Okay, one person in the comments compared me to Sigmund Freud. Some of my views on sex might seem similar to Sigmund Freud, but what people don't understand is Sigmund Freud plagiarized all of his work and perverted all of his work from classical Greek philosophers. In fact, his whole concept of the superego, the ego, and the id comes from classical Greek philosophy, as does a lot of his concepts such as eros and thanatos. And what he did get right is that the reproductive urge is the great motivator of civilization, of basically individual drive. It is, but he did not come up with that, and I actually prefer more of like a Ragnar Redbeard type outlook. People should read Might is Right by Ragnar Redbeard to understand what I'm saying. But more of a Ragnar Redbeard approach, or a Selfish Gene approach. I actually do encourage people to read The Selfish Gene, which was written by Dr. Richard Dawkins while he was still a biologist and not just a freaking turd for hire that just likes to disprove Christianity and yada yada yada. But The Selfish Gene actually highlights what I'm talking about very well, and you can also find out the root of the word meme. Dr. Dawkins is the one that created the concept of the meme. But more importantly, what I want to say is, if we are going to, and by we I mean this movement, and I'm not a mouthpiece for anything, I don't care if anybody listens to me, I make these videos for one special person and that's it, but if the overall third positionist movement is going to utilize, say, Christianity to revitalize Western civilization, it must be looked at as what it is, and it must be completely restructured. I was first aware of Christianity's ability to restructure society in a great way when I read Rediscovering Catholicism, because the restructuring of society starts with the restructuring of the individual, and Christianity, especially in a Catholic sense, allows a framework for that. When I read and understood the concepts of the Adventist laws of health, that showed that there is a carnal side to Christianity that must be embraced. But what people don't understand is the religiosity in men is different than the religiosity in women. Men think rationally. In order to revitalize society, you need both the masculine, the rational, logical aspect, and the creative aspect of the feminine. Okay, the problem is people don't want to differentiate between men and women. Now, in the United States, we were the first for a lot of things. One of the things we were the first for is the women's temperance movement, which was an anti-alcohol, anti-masculine movement. It was actually the predecessor of Marxist feminism. And it is what also has allowed communism to creep into Christianity so easily. So, what I wanted to explain is, if Christianity is going to be used to revitalize Western civilization and revitalize the Americas, Christianity cannot be used to castrate men, which is what it was used for. The women's temperance movement was the beginning of the end. It was the beginning of utilizing Christianity to ideologically castrate men, which has caused a feminization in men, and it has also caused women to not recognize masculinity when they see it. A direct advance on a woman, even a fascist woman, is seen as too forward. They would rather a pipsqueak that hides his true intentions and is full of pretentiousness and artistic fruitiness to be their ideal man. They cannot stand a direct masculine approach. And this is because of the castration of the masculine. And what's happening now with this new third positionist or alt-right or whatever, they're not simply castrating the men. They're castrating the women in a way too. They're taking away the femininity of the women. They're taking away the sensuality of the woman. They're trying to promote a desexualization of society. and you cannot desexualize society. Again, stating Ragnar Redbeard, as Ragnar Redbeard stated about classical philosophy, what good is classical philosophy if it leaves us with nothing but a bunch of milk-sopped morons? Okay, we are going to be going backward until, instead of man being a bridge to Übermensch, as Nietzsche states, man will become nothing more than a chattering ape. And that is what will happen if people do not understand. In order to revitalize the West and revitalize the Americas with Christianity, we need to look at it for what it is and actually accept certain truths